Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 2 of 916 Unpacked. We have Lando here today, who's currently on a journey from San Diego to Seattle.
Hello.
And has some songs prepared for us, so enjoy.
Hi, I'm Lando. Yeah, I'm going to play a few songs, maybe a couple songs from my new record that's coming out later this year. This one's called Pink Cloud Oasis. 1, 2, 3. That was called Pink Cloud Oasis. It is on my upcoming self-titled debut album. Alright. This is called Let's Not Do This Now. It's actually the first track on my new album. A little intro for you.
But my heart was too close. I should have known, but my head was chilling in the clouds. Let's not do this now. Let's save it for later. Let's not do this now. Let's save it for later. I shouldn't blame myself for not being all that you want. I should stop replaying it over and over just to see where I went wrong. Let's not do this now. Let's save it for later. Let's not do this now. Let's save it for later. Let's not do this now. Let's save it for later. let's not do this now. Let's save it for later.
Oh, that one was sweet.
I've never done it stomping my foot like that.
I like
That was
that.
fun.
Add a little fun to it.
Yeah. It turned it from like a really like, because the recording is so like chill, beachy almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was like a kind of, I don't know.
Jam out kind
That
of
was a vibe. I was
that
vibing.
I agree.
I probably shouldn't just like improv do shit like that live on a podcast, but that's
it.
Lando for you. I am authentic AF. I'll play one more. My voice is already kind of scratchy, as you can imagine. Let me tell you, skating like 50 miles a day, I suck in so much dirt.
Yeah.
And
Especially since you're everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
All the way from California, or all over.
all right, I'm Lando again, and this song is called Focusing.
I question everything. It's how I lost my faith. It's why I curse my name when the lights go out. I ask myself, what does it take to go insane? To go insane, 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 to go insane. Is it the sleepless nights talking to myself, waiting for replies? I could use some help, but who has the time? There's not enough today. I'll just keep my head low and walk away. I'll 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 walk away. Yeah. And I see colors, but I couldn't call them by name. This tunnel vision's getting in the way of focusing on anything that I should be focusing on. And I've got questions, but I'll save them for another day. I just think I need a little break from focusing on anything that I should be focusing on. And it's okay, yeah. And it's okay, yeah. It's okay, yeah. It's okay. And it's okay, yeah. It's okay, yeah. It's okay, yeah. It's okay.
Yes. That was good.
Thank you so much. All right.
Do you have like a timeline for when our viewers can enjoy those songs, or?
Well, if you're good at the internet, that's a phrase that people say. If you're good at the internet, you can find demos of probably half the album already posted online, but you're not going to find them under the name Lando. You're going to have to do some digging. But as far as the actual album goes, if you want to hear the mastered, complete stuff, honestly, I have no idea. Because it was supposed to be August, and then this
Well, this new venture
this new
kind of
venture that we are going to speak
takes
about.
you on another turn.
Oh, I'm going to pull this mic closer. I just realized. Check. All right. Yeah.
All good.
Cool. Yeah, it was supposed to start or be released August. Then it got pushed back to October. Now I have no idea because I'm on the road and yeah, I mean,
Exciting times.
but I'm not here to talk about music. Play
Yeah.
it. I love playing it. I try and play it every day. I wouldn't be carrying around a guitar like I am if I wasn't.
Just carrying around a guitar for no reason. So
Yeah.
you started in San Diego.
Yes. So
Tell us about your journey. What's
we
going on?
haven't even talked about that.
Yeah.
Hi, I am Lando. I am from San Diego, California. I am currently skateboarding up the West Coast, about 50, 60 miles a day, roughly, advocating for anybody who is struggling with mental health and addiction, because I, overcame both of those things. I am diagnosed bipolar, manic depressive, severe anxiety, PTSD, trauma, and all the goodies. Yeah, all the goodies. Such a fun time. It's a laundry list of medications and different doctors and fun things. But so I am currently on this long journey, skateboarding to Seattle, Washington. Basically, just trying to help anyone less fortunate than me, who I meet in the streets, because I'm out there. I'm not really a social media person. Mm-hmm. I didn't even plan on having an Instagram or anything for this when I started the trip. But through the motivation of others who said, you're being selfish, this is a lot bigger than you. That pushed me to, take that step into, seeing what this is, seeing how I can make it bigger. Because, before I was, I guess a little background. I'm here. Maybe if you have a question.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
So I feel like I'm rambling.
No, that's the point of having you on here. I want you to tell your story.
Okay.
So,
all right. So, all right. I used to play in a bunch of touring bands, and I used to party a lot. I wasn't diagnosed with any mental health diagnosis until I was 25, and even then it was just depression. It was half-assed psychiatrist who didn't really want to dive into what was going on with me. So depression, gave me some Prozac at the time, maybe Zoloft. I don't remember those.
Yeah, I feel like they're quick to prescribe you with medication. Because I tried a couple months ago to I feel like therapy is important. I think
definitely.
I was very reluctant against it for a really long time because when I was younger I had a very bad experience, but I thought I'd give it another go, and I went, and I only had my, your initial, are you going to kill yourself? And they ask you that for a half hour, and that's pretty much the whole appointment for the initial. And already they were like, oh, you should be on this pill, this pill, and this pill. I'm like, it's not what I'm here for. Not saying that that's bad to be on medication, but I feel like sometimes they're so quick, and not all of them, but at least my experience, it's so quick to prescribe you with pills rather than help you navigate where you're at. And I feel like it makes it really hard.
Yeah. Well, and here's another thing too, is with there being so many different things to be diagnosed with for mental health, it's easy to misdiagnose.
Exactly.
And, because a lot of this is a whole nother territory and topic, but a lot of people like myself when I was in my early 20s who found WebMD and decided to go down rabbit holes. We call ourselves hypochondriacs. No, I used to actually deal with that a lot. It was a pretty serious thing in my late teens and early 20s, but now I trust medical professionals. But yeah, you can get the wrong diagnosis just because you tell yourself that you're feeling a certain way because you heard somebody else say that they're feeling a certain way.
Yeah. And
I think that is part of my message that I will get into, but for now, to keep things more controlled. I went 25 years of my life without being diagnosed. And I started drinking at 15. That's 10 years of active daily use, self-medicating, because I didn't know that I had underlying issues. And Gen Z or whatever they're called, killing it. Like, hard on the defensive line for women's rights, Black Lives Matter, trans rights, the entire LGBTQ plus spectrum. And it's amazing to see. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm 30. I just turned 30. And my age group, kids said mean things like the F word, not fuck.
No, I know what you're talking about.
And stuff like that. Now I feel like kids are being raised with better morals, like, no, you don't say that because that's offensive, that hurts people's feelings. Got it. And it's like quickly imprinted into the younger generation's minds, and I think that's great. But I also think that with social media, with people wanting to have an online presence and stuff like that, it gets kind of scary because young people have at their fingertips the ability to influence other people and
be influenced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And somebody that they look up to might say, oh, I diagnosed this, and then because I'm feeling XYZ symptoms. And now you have maybe a young adolescent, teenager or whatever have you, that thinks because they share one common symptom of this influencer's diagnosis, that's what they have. And that's scary because getting put on the wrong medications, self-medicating is a huge thing. Like, I hear of young people being like, I have ADHD. Okay, well, who diagnosed that? Why? And then just like scoring Adderall from friends,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that, like especially like on TikTok or whatever. It's like, me currently having a manic episode, my room's messy, and like just loosely saying those terms.
Yeah.
And I feel like, personally, like I see people like just vomiting those terms or loosely throwing those terms around, and they don't realize the reality of those terms. I feel like, especially like, because I grew up like, I'm only 21. And the things I was exposed to, I'd see people saying stuff like that loosely all the time. And I felt like I was so lost and didn't have too strong, like even with therapy, I tried it when I was younger, it just didn't work. And just like, I don't know, I feel like I was lost for a bit. And there's these certain things I was like, I'm not sure if like that's how I am or where I'm at. Like, but when you're young, you're very impressionable.
Yeah, totally.
And you associate with these things like, oh, this one thing I feel uncomfortable. Oh, just because this person on Twitter said X, Y, and Z, like I really connected that. And then you kind of like go in this whole mental, like your reality becomes something different and your perception is consumed by something that maybe in reality isn't the situation you're actually in. You're just consumed with your perception. And people get lost in that a lot.
Here, let me just give a decent analogy for it, because when I was a teenager, Yeah, like I said, I mean, we didn't have social media. We had MySpace and LiveJournal and YouTube. It was
The guy with
great.
the board.
Yeah. I think we had a cartoon named Trogdor or something like that. Anyway, so, but no, nowadays, the influencer side of it, there's that. I was going somewhere
Analogy.
with this. Oh, yes. Perfect analogy is that when I was 14, I got my first guitar, right? I wanted to play guitar because I saw other people, older people play guitar. And I was like, dang, that lifestyle, that looks so appealing. I want every part of that.
Yeah.
Like David Bowie to me was God.
Oh, really?
And and Stevie Nicks and just, I could go on, but there's so many. But, so because of that, I worked really hard at music, and then I was in touring bands and stuff, which along with that came the lifestyle of the excessive drug use and alcohol use and sleeping around and doing things
looser morals. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and that is self-medicating because I was depressed and I was like, dang, this is all awesome.
Yeah, because you feel so good.
Yeah.
So you started in San Diego on this current. So this is chapter 1 then, because it's Lando Skates America.
This is chapter 1. Lando Skates America. I am currently skateboarding up the West Coast, about 50 to 60 miles a day, advocating for anyone struggling with mental health and addiction, and playing shows along the way, taking some cool photos and videos for TikTok and Instagram and stuff. Basically just trying to build awareness of what I'm doing. Because the West Coast is gorgeous,
I love the West Coast,
the scenery,
can't go wrong.
Everything about it. And this portion of the trip is actually more selfish than what I will be doing in the future, because I am enjoying every moment of it. Being out there.
Yeah, but that's not selfish. That's a part of the journey.
I say selfish in a good way. Selfish is actually not a bad word. It has one of those negative stigmas, but being selfish is not a bad thing at all. In fact, if I didn't have selfishness, I wouldn't be balanced,
Yeah.
You can't give away every bit of yourself.
Exactly.
Because...
And you shouldn't.
Yeah. So, I'm skating up the coast. I'm volunteering at food banks, churches was a part of it, kind of a little bit at the beginning of this trip, before all of what is going on in our society right now.
Yeah.
We're currently in a huge divide because of...
Life's crazy right now, man.
Yeah. So, I don't want to get into politics, but basically, I suffered addiction and mental health, and it basically took everything from me, including my health. Last year, I was diagnosed with necrotizing pancreatitis 5 days before my birthday. And basically, I have spent the last year completely changing my lifestyle, my mindset, my just ability to be more open. I was such a shut-off person in my addiction because I was just so sad. I was depressed. I was constantly just bitter about everything in life. And it's so freeing being able to just not feel that way anymore. And on top of it, having my physical health back has been a tremendous feat. And, it basically has taken like the entire year to, you know.
Well, especially to build up for a trip like this, it takes a lot of stamina. Like you were showing me your bags, it's like over 50 pounds lugging around the state, man. It's a lot.
It's been pretty wild.
Yeah.
You know? And I was not that fit going into this. I was slim and I had tone, but not skate for
like
60
the endurance you
miles
wanted.
a day. Yeah. But I truly think that it was one of those like, it has to be now or it's never gonna happen kind of things. And humans are capable of achieving so much like that you wouldn't expect.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen like the stories of like moms who can lift cars and stuff, like, you know, stuff like that. And
that is pretty crazy.
I think motivation and drive is really like, if you're mentally capable of, you know, pushing through all the physical stuff, then that's really what's been helping me out.
So you say this past year is when you turned your life around and made all these adjustments to evolve and align with a version of yourself that's happier and healthier and so on and so forth. When you first started this transition from your old lifestyle to how you live now, and what were those initial adjustments, those first steps that kind of got you into the rhythm of evolving?
Well, that is so loaded. Okay, well, it was hard because on top of, okay, so when I was discharged from the hospital, I had to go through pretty extensive physical therapy, because I was in the ICU for like 16 days. So
that's a while.
Like bedridden.
Yeah.
And so yeah, my legs like didn't work for a couple of months. So I was basically like just overall handicapped. Like my mental health was so low because I had been self-medicating for 15 years, and you know, losing that on top of my health, on top of my sanity, it really, well, I hate referring to like AA things because I'm not affiliated in any way in any of those programs, but I'm spacing. There is a direct quote from the big book of AA that I was just thinking of. That, oh my god, this is really gonna bother me. Okay, I cannot multitask and draw at the same time.
We'll have our time to draw.
Yeah. Okay. Next question.
So you started in San Diego.
Yes, started San Diego.
So take me through your journey. How do you decide what cities you like to go to? Or was it already set, or is it kind of just a go with the flow vibe, or?
Great question. Because of my past with touring bands, I've been to 48 states in the country.
Oh, wow.
I haven't been to Hawaii or Alaska. Someday. Hopefully with this new journey. I really want to do that.
Yeah, that would be cool.
I would love
skate
to
to Hawaii.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Okay, well, all right. Even though this entire thing that I'm doing is called Lando Skates America, there has been a lot of, like, negative comments online that's like, you're not skating the entire coast, you're driving it. No, I am legitimately.
How dare you?
How dare you, homie? I am skateboarding the entire way. I aside from when I illegally hopped on a freight train from Corona
I
to
saw that.
Huntington Beach, which I actually didn't make it to Huntington Beach
Oh, you
because I
didn't?
got caught. They like stopped the train and I had to like hop off in the middle of the woods.
So did you like have to like run like and then like jump on it?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that. I
Yeah,
feel like it'd be
it
like
was-
a movie moment.
It was. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Because it was literally. All right. Well, that's a whole nother thing. But it was. I was riding off into the sunset. It was literally a movie moment.
Vibing.
It was great. Yeah. So yeah. No, I'm skating the whole way. I'm also doing it with on my phone on airplane mode. So I'm not distracted. With that, I'm also not looking at maps. So I'm
you're just
using
going.
my intuition and my past of traveling everywhere and just like remembering like all the places that I enjoyed and finding them again. Which is really cool because, again, keep in mind that like a lot of my touring life, I was actively
Finding them as your new
using-
self.
Yeah,
You know?
so yeah.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Finding them again. And this entire new chapter of my life is kind of like an homage to the younger me that really didn't get a chance to like bloom, you know, because of being exposed to all of those toxic things at such a young age. Like this new album that I'm putting out, you know, a few of the songs are actually like 15 years old.
Oh, really?
I dug through my discography and found things that I've never recorded before or like
no way.
put on, or they were recorded like terrible demos and but nobody's ever heard them.
Something to work off of.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm able to like take that bit of innocence that I had before my active using, and it's like a nostalgic feeling playing those songs, but also like taking all of the years since then of not mastering, but like, you know, but like playing guitar and playing drums,
Refining
and-
your craft.
exactly, you know. So I'm like re-recording these songs with like a whole new drive and like a different mindset, and I'm 30 and not 15, so they sound a little more mature. But yeah, no, it's definitely like this. I mean, my entire life now is a vibe. It's just a really weird nostalgic. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make cool like indie emo music and skate
Yeah.
and
Even
not
just
drink. Like,
Yeah.
that's like me being 14, growing up in San Diego. Like, all I wanted to do was skate and play guitar, you know?
yeah, it's like
And
healing
then-
your inner child.
Exactly. You know, and the fact that I am able to do that now after having gone through such a traumatic thing, you know, with the diagnosis, with
Well, 16
the
days in
physical
ICU is a
therapy.
long time.
yeah. So I was in a medicalized coma for half of that. And I have read the files, and it is so disturbing. First off, I was like 100 pounds heavier than I am now. Like, all my organs were failing. It's insane. That I mean, the doctor who gave me the diagnosis in the ICU, it was the day that I was leaving the hospital, and he was basically like, good luck, but
Yeah.
you're probably not gonna make it because of how I just had no will to live. And it took a long time after that, because, you know, yeah, relearning how to live as a sober person, going through all the trauma and the like PTSD, also having to go through grief, because like like the previous year before getting this diagnosis, like my best friend, he took his life, and then like my mom passed right after, just like a couple months. My mom passed, and it was like
whirlwind of overwhelming.
COVID, like literally COVID.
Oh, okay,
happened,
so
like
that's
a
a
month
fucked
after.
timeline. Then
It was like losing my best friend, losing my mom. COVID happened. I was out in Boston alone, isolating, and I was just like ordering DoorDash alcohol, just getting
self-medicating.
blackout. Like at that point, it wasn't even medicating, because it was like I just was waking up, chugging a bottle of whiskey, and then passing out again. It was so dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just coming back from all of that.
Yeah, well, even like
wild.
You've gone on tour in all these places, and especially this is chapter 1 of this new venture, and you're facing these places that, I don't want to say facing, but you are revisiting these places. It's kind of like revisiting your old self.
That is
now
true.
As someone who has evolved in a different way, that maybe you go to certain places, maybe you happen to play a show at this dive bar or whatever, and you happen to go to the same place, and the last time you were there, you didn't think you'd be who you are now. And things like that, it's just kind of a magical thing about life, because, I've been in very dark places myself, and I've given up on life completely multiple times, and thinking about just how, as time passes and you just go through the motions, especially when it's like in a darker way, it's way different than you just like kind of wake up and you're like, oh shit, like like you said, if I don't do it now, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's a trip, because it was now, and then now it's the past, and it's already been this amount of time, and you've worked so hard to become who you know you can be. And it's just such a trip, especially when you are revisiting old chapters of your life while creating a new one. It's a trip. It's really cool.
It is, and I'm really glad you mentioned that, especially the way you did, because it is something that I've subconsciously thought about a lot on this trip, but have avoided like actually like thinking about it. Like when
It's overwhelming.
When I give it a name, it exists, and I haven't done that with this.
So you came into Sacramento, and what brought you to Sacramento? What made Sacramento one of those places on the map that you wanted to venture on?
It actually wasn't. I was gonna take like Eureka and go all nature. I honestly, if I was doing this entire trip my will, like everything the way that I was going to do it initially, I would not have an Instagram, and I would not be doing a podcast right now. But I'm very grateful that I am, because it really does take a village to make anything happen.
Yeah.
And I'm just a guy who wants to help other people, and that's cool in like if I just want to like do it in small ways just to feel fulfilled, I'm content with that. But it is something that's really unique and kind of cool, and a lot of people express that to me, and then that's why I did the whole social media thing. And so now, instead of taking a lot of the scenic routes and just, doing photography, which I was going to do initially anyway, just for myself, because I love photography and videography, video editing. It's just all art, it's all art to me. If I'm not doing music, I want to be doing something creative. Like skating is creative.
I agree.
It's literally just like sweating and pushing and sweating and crying.
Yeah. Eating shit, having to dust yourself off.
Oh my god. Okay, so this ankle is currently fucked. Excuse my language.
We already been doing it. You're chilling.
Yeah, okay.
You should have seen the last one. Got some like sailors.
Yeah. I sprained my ankle like 4 days ago, and I've just been skating on it I got like athletic tape and just
Hope for the best.
yeah, basically. And every time I take it off, I'm like, I hope I still have a foot connected to my ankle.
No, yeah.
But no, yeah, I've eaten shit a lot. I'm getting to the point where I need new trucks and wheels. So, here is where I utilize this portion of the show to say, endorse me. Thrasher, what's up? No, yeah, no, it's cool. I'm also not really, I don't like asking for things.
I'm the same way.
And just over the past week, a lot of businesses had been like, seen my social media and sent a message and said like, yo, roll through if you're ever in this area. You know, we'll give you new deck, and that's so awesome because
Yeah, that is cool.
I'm 100% okay with that, like a business, because at the end of the day, like if I do have some large following on social media and I can help a business and being able to like
And on a good platform with a good message. You don't see that a lot.
And like being able to, at some point now that I am doing like the socials, I am going to have like a legitimate site where I'll have like an entire column for businesses that have helped me along the way that I appreciate and that deserve to like permanently have their names on the Lil Dicky.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know him.
That video?
Which video?
Something money. Get that money or
Oh
something.
my god, my dad's like obsessed with that song when it
Really?
came out.
That's so
He was
funny.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. The premise
Yeah.
of that video, even though it's like very different than what I'm doing.
No, yeah.
But, I appreciate music. So, and also that guy is just hilarious.
he is so funny. He has a show, right?
Yeah, Dave. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the part of the podcast where we promote the show Dave on FXX.
If you want to sponsor 916
Thursdays.
Unpacked, now's your chance before I make it big.
So,
Little Dicky,
Lil
something
Dicky,
money,
something
message, similar.
Yeah. So the entire premise of the video is that he wants to spend as little money as possible filming, and so he gets it's kind of funny and kind of cute. Like this elderly woman who's just super rich and has this big old mansion.
Yes, I
And
think
they
I
go to
heard
the
this.
door, and
Yeah.
he's very proper because at the end of the day he is like this white Jewish guy.
White dude, yeah.
So he's like all kind, and she's like, yeah, you film for 15 minutes in my mansion out by my pool, and then they went to
God,
like
that
a
would be fun.
Ferrari dealership. And I would never do anything like that. But you know what I mean? Like having skate companies reach out and just literally having the bare necessities to stay on the road. Awesome. And like this essentially, I would like any profits that are made. I want to be able to have a bunch of different organizations set up that I'm consistently putting money through, and
Yeah.
basically I've always been a minimalist to an extent where like I don't need an abundance of things to
Yeah, well, clearly you
make
got a
me
backpack
happy.
and like calling it cool.
Oh, that is actually hilarious because I was in a TikTok video the other day that went viral.
Stop.
Like 500,000 views and like
Doing
a
what?
shit ton- I'll show it to you, but
Yeah.
so basically I was in San Luis Obispo.
Great city.
I love it.
I love it
Gorgeous.
down there. Pismo Beach.
Yeah,
The Oceana
I went
Dunes,
to Pismo.
yeah.
I went all over. I used to play in a band from that area. I'm not from that area, but I traveled there to experience. I love Central Coast. 805 is like
so nice.
I will die there eventually. Like, okay, you want to talk about selfishness? Please support my journey, and I'm gonna skate my ass off and try to help as many people as possible for like the next however long until all my bones are broken. Only if I can like keep a little bit of money so that I can build like a home studio in San Luis Obispo and spend out the rest of my life recording music.
That would be a good place to go.
Thank you very much. I feel like that was very wholesome. Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be.
There's a lot of people I know that want to end up, like my dad wants to retire there, my grandpa, like it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up going down in that area, like more so Pismo, because they have the Oceano Dunes out there. We'd like ride to ATVs out there like when I was younger, but just like that whole little area is so they have really good cinnamon rolls in Pismo Beach that like I don't know the name. It's like old fashioned cinnamon rolls is like just that generic. Yeah, too. It has like the wagon. Yeah.
It's still
so
there.
Good.
Pismo Beach. It was kind of a trip though because I hadn't been to Pismo since maybe 2010.
Oh yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah, and back then it was very like. There weren't all the like hotels and like touristy. I mean, it was still a tourist town for sure.
Just
but
not as much.
Not as much, you know. But now it's wild. But it's cool. There's still like that chowder spot that's really good. Dave's, I think it's called, something like that.
Something like that.
I don't have time for that. I literally
it's
just
so much pressure.
I know. Yeah.
Even with my collective, and because I have the collective and then I have the podcast, they're like two different things.
Yeah.
I'm so behind on my collective, like, because I, like, on there, it's more of a networking-based brand, I guess. Not a business, but a brand. And I go to these events, and then, like, it's a couple days later, I'm like, dude, I'm so late on posting these things, and, like, I have to go through and make sure, I mean, not that much work to do, obviously, but just to sit down, like, you just forget so I work full-time doing all this stuff, it's just, like, how do you keep up with all this? Especially the people doing it all day. It's like, what do you come up with? Like, how do you even, like, come up with what to do? Like, how do you know all these? You have the time to take in all these trends and then do your spin on it. It's like, oh, my God, that must be so stressful.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I ran an online vinyl record store for a long time.
That's cool.
And I love records. I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything from like 50s, 60s blue note jazz to punk to
love jazz,
metal, hip hop. I used to collect like Wu-Tang affiliated,
80s,
90s hip hop, like Gravediggers and stuff like that. But yeah, like the upkeep for social media, it was literally like. I quit. I was a sous chef in fine dining. I was bartending, like a bunch of different bars, but I like quit working for people to just pursue this idea that I had of like just having this cool online record store that primarily focused on like the really, really rare and collectible stuff. That was like my little niche, and it was rad. But yeah, that was the one thing that I like, the social media, the constant like on my phone. I don't know if it's just like having super blue eyes or shit vision, but like I constantly being in my phone like that.
Exhausting.
Every day, just like I feel like I have no energy, but yeah, so I am stoked that I you know how on iPhones it tells you like the weekly your phone,
the exposing app, yes,
or like so I don't even remember what it is, but it is significantly less than the
when you're on airplane mode. Yeah,
wow, there's that, but also even if I wasn't though, like
just in a general sense,
I wouldn't be on like just in general, like I'm still skating all over, and I wouldn't be on like social media or anything.
Yeah.
If anything, I feel like if I didn't have my phone on airplane mode, I would just be too focused on where I'm going.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the who's watching, like who's commenting on my stuff. I still don't care about that stuff. I do really, really love the positive messages. That is like straight up motivation. And
Even the connections, like that's cool. When you DM'd me, I was like, and I looked and I was like, oh shit, like that's hella cool. Like he wants to be on my podcast. Like no way.
It's rad stuff.
Yeah,
and it is connections. I don't know. That's this entire trip. I haven't planned anything, but I've met amazing people on the way who have like gone out of their way to do like serious stuff, like to try and motivate me to, because it's been hard. I've had a lot of struggles on this journey so far.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I got robbed in Riverside by knife.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Is that when your board got taken?
Weird things. No, this was way before that. No, my board, that was just a few days ago. Yeah, no, that was
Damn.
That was a bummer, but no, that wasn't a dangerous situation or anything. It was kind of my carelessness. But that's the thing is like you can't be 100% there when you're on the road constantly moving. Like like I skated a bunch today, and right now I am having to focus
on talking
200% on talking and trying to stay coherent.
Yeah.
So I apologize for when I am like mid sentence and then go blank. I'm like, wow, I'm also a little stoned, but
full disclaimer.
But we're gonna get into that because I am a huge advocate for cannabis and enthusiast. I use it. I'm a huge supporter. So, now just spacing out. It's just long day.
It's a part of the journey, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine where my headspace would be if I was doing what you were doing. Especially like not using your phone to like get to where you need to go. I feel like is so, I don't know. Like I depend on my phone to get to most places. Like
here's the little hack: is that Google Maps, their app, if your service is off, like you're on airplane mode, you could still will pinpoint sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it'll pinpoint your location. And it'll show you a general outline.
Just like where you're at.
Of like, like north, south, east, west. And then like, if you're looking at that map and you have a general idea of what is inside those lines, you can get to those places. And that is where muscle memory and like...
Do you hear that?
What is that?
That's probably Ramona. Anyways.
That's fine. But yeah, just years of traveling, and then I have a weird photographic memory where I remember like the strangest details about especially when it comes to records. We were just talking about records, and it's an ongoing joke amongst a lot of like friends who are shop owners or just Discog sellers or anything like that. Like I am a Discogs encyclopedia because I for over a decade have been like just I could tell people like specific variant info on like Beatles records from the 60s through 80s and their current market value and like it's stupid stuff that I'm never gonna need again because music is all around me now.
You're submerged in your craft.
Yeah. Well, it's not my craft, everyone's craft. Like I'm so excited about just like constantly hearing new things. And that's another thing is with social media, and this is another really cool thing, like connecting with local artists and like doing cool appearances like this is people are always making me like little mix CDs or not actual CDs,
but like
mix
you know.
tapes, or Dropbox, things, and because I have my like ongoing skate list, so on Facebook, which it's a dead format. Who uses Facebook anymore?
I do love Facebook Marketplace though.
Marketplace is great.
That's where I got that couch.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
This is a great couch.
That couch.
But I guess I'm just so like, because I gave up on personal social media for a long time, and so I guess me making these Facebook posts is like not really doing anything. Nobody's like, and the algorithms are so weird.
Right.
And just in the past week and a half since I've had the Facebook page for Lando Skates America, I've gotten like 1,200 requests. Like, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
that's a lot.
Yeah. And
Holy shit, in a week?
Yeah, in a week.
Holy
people
heavens.
are actively messaging. Like, I'm getting like 30, 40 messages a day.
Oh my
God.
God.
That's another reason why I have to keep my phone on airplane now, because it's like constantly blowing up. Which is so cool. Like, seriously, like the outpour of support has just been like otherworldly. It's
crazy. You don't think like, because even like with what I've started, I haven't gotten like that many followers or anything, but even just like with the small things that I've been doing, even just being recognized, like you would want to be here is just like really cool, just like especially when you're aligning with your authentic self more and more and doing things for the soul rather than just, I don't know, stuck in the simulation kind of a mindset of living through life. When you break out of that a little bit and you get that support, it's just so crazy because you just, I don't know, get lost in the sauce and you wake up and then it's like, oh shit, like all these people are here, like finding your own community in different places. It's just a great thing,
It really is, and yeah, like like I was saying, the amount of support is just, it's so cool. And it's different from like the support that I've received in the past from like music that I've released or any sort of creative outlet that I've done, because it's always been just focused around like, this is my craft. I want to make money doing it. Being in bands and touring and stuff. And of course there's a love with passion for the,
but you also have to make ends meet at the same
Exactly.
time. Yeah.
But now being able to like wholeheartedly give my everything to this and not worry about finance. There is literally like, I'm not paying rent.
No.
I'm paying my phone bill and like, the bare necessities to survive. And that's all I need. And it's cool. But something that I do want to talk about is kind of going back to me being terrible with social media, is I am so not going to be able to handle like it's already in a lot, just like keeping up with Facebook, like, the friend requests. Just like responding to people and that stuff like that. It's hard to do that when, because when I'm skating, I maybe take like 10-minute breaks every 15 miles or so.
Yeah.
So in those 10 minutes, it's like quick snack, chug water, look at my phone for like maybe a minute. And I'm like, just really quick, just like
quick check-in.
Heart on like all the nice comments. And then like, and then that's where I get in to like, oh, that was really sweet. And then I start going into responding to all these things. But I'm not going to be able to do that, because I do have a lot of plans for after this leg of the trip. Like, I do. I want to start booking school seminars for middle school and high schools, basically just telling my story. And because when I started using and self-medicating, I was around that age. I was 14, 15. And we had the DARE program.
Oh my God, yeah.
Corniest thing, cops.
Now my friends who do drugs wear those shirts, ironically. Yeah.
I think I was doing that in like my early 20s too.
No, yeah, like
wearing
wearing
them. But no, I mean, like, it's cool. It's a resource. It's out there. That's all I'm going to say about DARE. Besides, cops shouldn't be telling people not to do drugs, because that's just a joke in and of itself.
Yeah.
Like, don't do drugs or we're going to arrest you. Okay, cool.
Dude, yeah.
That's the school seminar you're gonna give to kids? Like, nah. So I wanna do these school assemblies, these seminars where I just have a little bit of time and tell my story, because it's insane. Like, I was in touring bands. I did a lot of wild and crazy things that I should not have done at a very young age. Mm-hmm. Like, I went on my first full US tour at 16.
Oh, wow.
I spent my 17th birthday doing blow off of, like, I'm not going to say that on a podcast. Doing blow with ladies of the evening.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of wild things, and it's formed me into the empathetic and caring and giving and loving person that I am, because I've seen how evil and shit humans can be.
I agree.
And I've also been that person, I'm not going to come from a place of, like, innocence and be like, or like a victim, like, I was an alcoholic, man, pity me. No, in fact, I did a lot of, like, not cool shit.
No, yeah.
And I just think that, like, that's a huge part of my message, is that, like, these young kids, excuse me, that might not be, they, even though this younger generation is really good with, like, talking about issues and stuff like that, and then we kind of got a little bit into influencers having that a little bit too much influence, and being able to impact people's thoughts and, like, self-diagnosis and stuff like that. But I still feel like there's no 30-year-old tattooed fucking musician that's going to middle school saying, like, hey, I was 14, 15, and before I started drinking and using, I felt, because I had a fucked up childhood. Excuse my language again, but
we're past it. It's all good, dude.
I know.
You just talked about doing blow with some lovely ladies of the evening. I think we're past formalities at this point.
I think it's more so it's a personal choice that I've been making lately to
be mindful
of my vocabulary, and just the even the tone in which I talk. Sometimes, and this is another thing with, like, I have ADHD and bipolar. Sometimes I'm very calm, and then other times I'm like, so neurotic, I suppose.
Well, even like with the, maybe not specifically the DARE program, but my experience with the DARE program, it was, don't do drugs or you get arrested. It's like fear-based, like, kind of. And the best, I guess, analogy I could use is, like, with sexual education with our youth. It's like,
same thing.
The best thing is abstinence. Kids young adults are not going to stay abstinent. Like, come on now. You have to explain the reality in all sides of a situation, or a position you could put yourself in, because people don't understand like the layers that go into substance abuse and the layers that go into mental health aside from just the surfacing discussion points.
Yeah.
You know, and like
true.
even just like shaming for those things, kind of like sex, like shaming for sex, like especially like young adults get shamed for those things, especially women, like it's like a guilty thing, you know.
Totally.
And no one talks about it. And then there's not those conversations that are had that should be when you're younger, and then you grow up, and then these are things you're always going to deal with as you get older, and then you have no idea what you're doing or no idea how to navigate and be safe and be smart for your emotional self, for your physical self, for all of these things, because there weren't honest conversations. It was kind of just like, oh, don't do that. You're going to get pregnant. You're going to get this.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. Oh, don't do these drugs. You're going to get arrested. Oh, don't, you know, it's just like, that's not the reality of the situation.
Exactly.
And the reality of what you're exposed to, especially like, because I've been exposed to a lot and been in certain sides of life and seen where things go when you follow a certain path. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I've been able to turn away from that path. But, you know, people... I don't know how to explain it, I guess. It's just like you're not given the right tools for the amount of exposure you get. And it's such a surge. Because especially like, because I was exposed to a lot when I was younger. I don't want to say I had a shitty childhood. I just had some sprinkles of trauma. It's the best way I could word it. And when I moved out when I was 18. And couple years now, the amount I've been exposed to things that I just never thought that I mean, I was a little bit prepared for it, for the things that I saw growing up, and just, you know, being in California and the Bay Area and Sacramento, all these places, I've seen things. But there's a lot of kids out there that aren't ready for that exposure, and we send these 18-year-olds out into the world who don't really have the right tools to actually navigate through these real life situations. They more than likely, it's a higher likeliness of them, you know, being exposed to these things, but they have to know the Pythagorean theorem. You know what I mean? It's just like a load of crap to me personally. I think there's many more conversations of the reality of the world that you're going into that need to happen. And that's why so many kids, you know, get lost in the sauce, like myself, you know. It's very easy to, when you don't have the right tools and you didn't have the reality of the conversation to where you know all around what you're dealing with, you know.
And that's exactly what my message is that, you know, when I'm doing this next leg of the trip and further, and the reason why I want to do these school seminars is because there is not, this conversation is not being had on a national level. It's happening, you know, amongst friends. It's happening on social media. It's not happening in schools. And that is where, like, I mean, that's the fundamental, it's where all knowledge comes from in adolescence. So the same people that you trust to teach you math and science are telling you don't have sex, stay abstinent, or don't do drugs, but not telling you why, not giving you an empathetic answer, or like trying to
a transparent,
or transparent, or also maybe even like I don't know. At the end of the day, I just feel like there needs to be somebody, not, you know, crazy older. I don't think I'm that old.
No, you're definitely not. First of all,
it's so weird, you know.
No, I get what you mean.
Just turned 30. But yeah, no. So just somebody that can like relate with younger people that like I have experienced all of the things that, you know, I can tell you right now. I didn't hear the definition of depression until I was at least 16, 17.
Yeah.
Way like after I started actively drinking. And that to me is disheartening because like that started 15 years of just a downward spiral.
Yeah.
So much time lost. And I now having this new health, this new outlook on everything and just trying to be as positive and optimistic as I can, but also sharing like the fucking horror stories that I've went through with younger people so that they can make that like conscious decision, you know, maybe that guy isn't full of shit. Maybe he's actually seen some stuff.
Like, he's just being straight up about things that everyone's sugarcoated my whole life, or like just covered in fear, you know?
And this is what I would really like to see happen, is if even like a handful of people, you know, 14, 15, reached out and actually, instead of doing what I did, like instead of self-medicating, actually like, because they're hearing the words depression, anxiety, they're hearing, you know, but it's just that first step, and it's almost like it's too late, because at least it was for me. Like, I will tell you right now, I remember the exact day that I had my first drink. It was actually 2. It was 2 King Cobra 40 ounces.
Oh my God, stop.
And they were duct taped to my hands.
Edward 40 hands?
Edward 40 hands. I was like, I believe I was 14. I think it was right before my 15th birthday. And I was with an amazing group of people. And I think maybe an hour before that, I had been like bawling my eyes out uncontrollably alone, because I was just sad. And that was a daily occurrence for a long time, because I was like, I was mentally just shut off.
And not given the support to actually navigate it properly.
Exactly. My parents divorced when I was young, and, you know, years of courts and CPS and, you know, just unnecessary shit. My mother was an addict and alcoholic, so obviously I saw a lot of that in her. My dad, very,
Dads.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just, you know, I guess if you had to, if I had to narrow it down, it just, everything that I'm doing right now, I'm just skating the West Coast. I'm trying to build a following for what's to come, because it's going to be big. And
well, I'm really excited to see where
I want
this
to build a
goes.
team as well. Friends in Santa Cruz, who I was just thinking about on my way skating here earlier, and it's like small things, you know.
It's
like,
the little things that matter.
Like when I trip off my skateboard, and like that's happening like 20 times a day at this point.
Yeah.
But like now that I have a guitar with me,
A little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different. I have to like worry about how I fall, because like I'm skating for years. I can fall pretty good, but now I got to worry about not breaking the guitar. So now I'm actually taking some of the force, and I'm like,
it's a pretty tricky way.
Tricky way, but no, it's just fun. And you know, those small connections, you know, when something shitty happens, like falling off my skateboard, I can like think about the joke that, you know, somebody said, who I like, this guy, you know, I was in Santa Cruz, I was literally just skating by his house, and he was smoking weed, and I was like, hey, I've got weed. You have weed. You have a cool little studio apartment. Like 2 blocks from the beach, and he invited me in, and we ended up talking about music for hours, because he like makes hip hop, and like he has like these really nice guitars, so we just jammed and like smoked, and
that's the best.
And then the next day he was like, I think I'm gonna take the day off, and you know, we can like go walk around the beach and get tacos and stuff.
No way.
So,
that is very sweet.
You know, it's just small stuff like that like
really happening upon people is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
You know.
And I was telling you about just like the random occurrences of like meeting 2 people with my same birthday.
Yeah, that is pretty.
That's never happened in my life.
Really?
But
like
on
ever?
This trip. Well, besides this one dude, Sean, who I grew up with, but he sucked.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
June 20th. Sean.
Oh, that's your birthday?
Yeah.
Oh, no way. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think it was essential for me to do what I'm doing right now, because I was diagnosed on June 15th, 2021. My birthday, June 20th. So, like, me turning 29, I didn't have a party.
No.
I was just starting physical therapy. I was unable to get out of bed on my own. That was a year ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm skating 60 miles a day.
That's awesome. That's a long way to come in a year, too.
Yeah. And my doctor, the doctor who, gave me the diagnosis, said I probably wasn't going to live.
Yeah.
So that is my kind of story. But, I just want, this part of my trip, my message is, if you're in it, reach out to somebody. Because if I'm not motivation to find the right medication or find therapy or find whatever it is besides alcohol or your drug of choice, and your physical health and your mental health is on the line, it's so sad. I've lost so many amazing people in my life that to addiction,
Yeah.
it's just like crippling your physical health. And had I not done everything the way that I did when I did, I probably wouldn't be alive. It was wild. Like, my hair was like falling out in clumps.
Oh, really?
I weighed 225 pounds. I was just like a mess.
Yeah.
Now look at me.
And now look you go.
Lando,
Sitting here telling this story.
Skating America. So everyone join me at Lando Skates.
Yeah, well, and maybe if you see him, you might be able to get some of these cool journals.
Yeah.
Super cool, super fun.
Some cool little handmade replica journals. I do a lot of writing on the road. And if anyone wants to buy one, just DM me on whatever social media platform. Literally pay what you want. Could be $5, could be $20, could be the most expensive journal you've ever purchased, and you could send a donation of $420, and that'll go directly into some sort of donation. I don't know. But no, $5, $10, doesn't matter. They're cool. They're fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to write mine.
Hell yes. Yeah. And I'm going to keep making them and other weird merch along the way. I'm trying to think of anything else
I think
plug, but
I think we about did it, man.
We did it. I think everything else is just going to be you editing. So much talking.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your story with America.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It has been a blast.
Yeah.
And, I can't wait.
And that's a wrap.